and thank you for tuning in to Canal Algérie's Nightly News. On to the headlines. More messages and phone calls from world leaders and prominent figures congratulating President Abdelmajid Tebboune after being re-elected for a second term. In a qualitative operation carried out by the armed forces in Tamnaras, 4 terrorists active in Sahel region are arrested. New victims in road accidents in Tugurt and Jilfa, urging drivers to be more careful to avoid more human casualties. And the Zionist extermination war on Gaza goes on, targeting UNRWA schools supposed to be safe areas according to the UN conventions. Welcome back. We begin with tonight's main story, where days after his re-election for a second term, the President of the Republic, Abdelmajid Tebboune, keeps receiving congratulation messages and phone calls from several world leaders and prominent figures, denoting their excellent relationship with our country. More to discover with Midisa Kabash.
After his re-election for a second term, President Tebboune is still receiving congratulation messages and phone calls. This time it was from his brother Abdel Fattah al-Sisi, the President of the Egypt Arab Republic, who congratulated him as well as the Algerian people, wishing him success in fulfilling his mission. The two sides exchanged points of views regarding bilateral cooperation and means to reinforce the ties between the two countries before agreeing to meet soon. The President of the Brotherly Republic of Iraq, Abdelatif Jamal Rashid, congratulated as well the President of the Republic, hailing the fraternal relations that unite our countries, wishing him success in his new 5-year term. The Chinese President Xi Jinping congratulated President Tebboune, underlining the friendly historic relations and his will to promote collaboration to enlarge cooperation with new prospects. The Japanese Prime Minister Kishida Fumio also congratulated the President of the Republic on his behalf and on behalf of the Japanese people. The Prime Minister commended the efforts deployed to implement peace and security in the Middle East, notably in Gaza and Africa and the Sahel region. The President of the Korean Republic, Yoon Suk-yeol, addressed a congratulation message on his behalf and on behalf of the Korean people to President Tebboune for his re-election for a second term, wishing him prosperity, underlining his determination to develop bilateral cooperation between Seoul and Algiers. The President of the Belarus Republic, Alexander Lukashenko, extended his warm congratulations, hailing the victory of President Tebboune, considering his winning as a popular recognition for his remarkable efforts to develop the Algerian Republic, indicating his will to upgrade cooperation with Algeria in different domains. The President of the Republic of Azerbaijan, Ilham Aliyev, sent for his part as well a congratulation message, stating that this victory reflects the trust of the Algerian people granted to President Tebboune, expressing his full readiness to keep developing bilateral relations between the two countries. The Serbian President of the Republic, Alexander Vučić, congratulated President Tebboune on his behalf and on behalf of the Serbian people, hailing the profound relations between the two countries and the role in the creation of the non-aligned organization, underscoring his conviction that bilateral cooperation will further develop for the service of both peoples. The Iranian President, Masoud Pezeshkian, congratulated as well the President of the Republic, expressing his wish to establish a vision to develop global bilateral relations between the two countries. The Angolan João Lourenço President congratulated the head of state for his victory in the presidential elections, indicating as well that this victory reflects the trust placed in President Tebboune to overcome all challenges, expressing his wish to continue consolidating bilateral relations. The President of the Republic of Djibouti, Ismail Omar Guelleh, addressed a congratulation message in which he displayed his commitment and will to develop bilateral relations, wishing that this triumph will be a source of leadership for Algeria. Finally, the President of the National Council for the Safeguard of the Homeland of Niger, Abderrahmane Tiani, congratulated President Abdelmajid Tebboune, considering his victory as a popular recognition for the major achievements accomplished during his first term, before hailing the solid relations binding Algeria and Niger.
In the context of fighting terrorism, and thanks to the efficient exploitation of information, the People's National Army Security Services arrested at the level of the military sector of Temnerast in the 6th military region 4 terrorists active in Sahel region. This concerns the terrorist Sekuni Ibrahim known as Teklu, the terrorist Alawi Muhammad known as Wedha, the terrorist Al-Alwi Ahmed known as Al-Khattab, in addition to the terrorist Trakzi Ahmeda, known as Didi. In the same context, a terrorist named Okba Konta said Amr, known as Abu Nasser, surrounded to the military authorities of the operational sector of Burj Baji Mukhtar in his possession a Kalashnikov submachine gun, 2 loaded ammunition magazines, a radio communication device. These operations denote once again the efficiency and the approach adopted by the PNA and the efforts deployed by our armed forces on the ground in order to get rid of the remaining terrorism in the country and to establish security and tranquility across the entire national territory. In a sad news, a tragic traffic accident killed 7 people on the national road NR3 in Hajira in Touggourt province. The accident took place after a collision followed by a fire between a passenger's bus and traveler's bus operating the line Gelma Hassim Saud and a tourist vehicle at the level of the kilometer point 50. The number of victims is expected to rise according to civil defense. Similarly, in Jilfa, 3 people were killed while others were wounded in a road accident on the municipal road number 11 in Chatra, linking the municipalities of Ben Yaqoub and Duis. Given this alarming situation, vigilance is more than necessary. To this effect, the monitoring center belonging to the National Gendarmerie follows closely each accident and dispatches its agents to control the situation to clear the traffic congestion. More details in this field report by Yanis Ait Bilqasim, taken up by Melissa Kapash.
Here, at the level of the monitoring center of the National Gendarmerie, every road access is controlled in case of an accident, notably during the summer season when roads become deadly for some.
During the summer season, more than 1,700 accidents were recorded, claiming more than 662 lives and more than 2,800 wounded.
As seen through this footage, the brigade received a phone call informing them about a deadly accident that occurred in Jilfa province, killing 3 people. And it is thanks to these screens that the National Gendarmerie is able to locate any accident and allow it to intervene alongside civil defense so as to speed up the rescue operation.
Speed remains the main cause for these dangerous accidents, in addition to other maneuvers made by careless drivers offending the driving regulations. The Road Security Directorate launched an awareness campaign on the occasion of the social comeback to recall drivers about the road regulations.
The National Gendarmerie is stepping its awareness campaign to end this road crime in constant increase despite the macabre list of victims throughout the country.
Ahead of the upcoming back-to-school day, several provinces across the country are mobilized to reinforce school infrastructure. Case in point, Biskra province, which has an important construction and rehabilitation program. Menan Maafa explains.
The national education sector in the province of Biskra will be backed with several new infrastructure at all levels of education ahead of the 2024-2025 school year. These new educational facilities aim to alleviate pressure on the already existing schools.
In western Biskra, there was a flagrant lack of school infrastructure as the already existing ones were overcrowded. It applies to all educational levels. Now we're glad to see these projects taking shape on the ground. Our children's school life was very tough these past few years, but now, thanks to Allah and to the public authorities, new facilities were constructed. This will help our daily life.
The province will be bolstered with more than 30 educational institutions across all levels, equipped with the necessary teaching resources to welcome students and educational staff under the best possible conditions. The national education sector in the province of Biskra has just been strengthened with new schools that will be operational by the start of the academic year this September. A total of 18 primary schools will open their doors soon to students, along with 9 middle schools and 7 high schools by the end of the year. 3 additional institutions will be completed as well.
The significant number of new institutions will help reduce overcrowding, particularly in middle schools, which have experienced some saturation in several localities in the province. As you know, this will improve the learning conditions for our children, and this initiative encourages us to work even harder.
A large-scale operation involving the rehabilitation and restoration of numerous schools across Biskra has been completed a few days before the new school year for the benefit of pupils in this province.
Abroad, the Geneva Support Group for Western Sahara voiced its concern facing the systematic violations by Morocco of human rights and international humanitarian law in the occupied territories of Western Sahara, denouncing the silence of Human Rights Council. In a statement, the group urged all states to respect and defend the recognized international status, urging them to refrain from getting involved in all approaches aimed at hindering the political process and the inalienable right of the Sahrawi people to self-determination. To the Palestinian territories now, where the Zionist army carried out attacks over the last 24 hours, resulting in the death of 34 Palestinians and the injury of 96 others. Further updates in this report compiled by Wissam Abu Zaid, taken up by Min Al-Maafa.
The heavy hand of the occupation continues to oppress the Palestinian people. A single airstrike on a UNRWA school in Al Nusayrat refugee camp in central Gaza was enough to kill 15 Palestinians and injure 40 others. The shelter for survivors was also destroyed. No one here is asking why the school was bombed, as occupation deems the mere existence of Palestinians on the land as justification enough to launch tons of missiles and shells filled with explosives, shedding the blood of innocents. This location has been targeted multiple times with the clear goal of killing the displaced. This enemy, as you can see, is ruthless in its crimes. Even animals are not spared from the Zionist occupation's missiles. UNRWA reports that since the start of the aggression on Gaza, over 220 of its employees have been killed, including 6 staff members who were carrying out their humanitarian duties for thousands of displaced Palestinians, in blatant disregard by the Zionist entity for international organizations and the United Nations workers in the region. I pose this question to the entire world. Why has the school been bombed 7 times? The displaced come here from the north, from Khan Yunis, and from every area seeking refuge in the school. But let me tell you, the occupation strikes and then moves on. But we are here not leaving the school. Airstrikes continued on residential homes in the north and the south, with the latest hours resulting in the martyrdom of more than 40 Palestinians in several massacres committed by the Zionist occupation. Among them were 13 martyrs recovered from the cities of Rafah and Khan Yunis after heavy shelling in the southern part of Gaza. The occupation persisted in demolishing residential blocks. My brother was getting ready to pray the middle prayer. While his wife was preparing lunch, his daughter was with her 2 young children, one a newborn and the other one was 3 years old. Both were martyred with her. My brother's children were also martyred, his son's children too. Isn't it unjust? What is the fault of these children? Please tell me. Grief follows Palestinians wherever they go, and the pain of losing loved ones has become part of their daily life.
The end. Thank you for watching. Be well.